Every town has a ghost story that's been passed down through the generations. But what if those legends were true? My name is Miranda Young, and I'm the Ghost Biker. Hey everybody, happy Thursday night. We are finally back on the Ghost Biker Garage. I'm your host, the Ghost Biker, and boy, it has been a couple very, very busy weeks. So hopefully you guys can hear me okay. I was having some mic issues here just a second ago, but and we've been I think we've got some storms that are getting ready to roll in. So hopefully, fingers crossed, the internet service is going to be good. So I hope everyone is doing well. We've been doing a lot of traveling over the last little bit. We've got some new people that have followed and liked the page. So welcome to you all. I'm excited you're here, and hope that that you can join us on some of the interesting discussions that we plan to have here. So hello to everyone that's over here in the chat room. Hello to Miss Nancy Weems. I hope you're doing well. Thank you for confirming, Bob. Yeah, it was kind of crazy. As soon as I started the countdown there, I couldn't hear anything through my headphones. And it wasn't until halfway through the intro that I ended up being able to actually hear that. So I'm glad we were able to get that to work. Tonight's show's probably going to be a little bit of a shorter show unless we have some interesting discussion here. I basically just wanted to pop on and talk a little bit about some of the different events that I got the opportunity to be a part of over the last couple weeks, and then also talk about a few interesting things that we've got coming up here as well. Hello, Ken. Thank you so much for tuning in here. I hope y'all are doing well out there in the Midwest there. Mr. Daryl Paulette, they're from Clover Hill Village. I know those guys have been really, really busy up there, and it's great to see you on here. So if you tuned in earlier, we had the Jailhouse Informant podcast earlier. Chris and I came on and talked a little bit about some of the events that we've got going on at the jail. And let me pull up the banner here. If you're looking for something fun and interesting to do, we've got a lot of really great things lined up over the next couple of weeks. You can find all of that information if you go to historicscottcojail.com or historyhighwaysandhaunts.com. You can find all of the events and interesting information of things that we've got going on. So we were going to try to do a live investigation this week, but I just didn't have time to get that together. This week after I got back from Wisconsin, they just finished up the remodel here on my house. I had some appointments that I needed to take my mom to, and just kind of do some general catch up here at the house. So I didn't have time to get an investigation together, but I've been working on some things that hopefully the next couple weeks we'll be able to do. Now, next week, we are going to be live at the Fentress County Historical Society. And let me see if I can pull that up here. Chris and I are going to be there. We're going to be talking about the jail and talking about historic rugby after dark. We're going to really be talking about our business and how we got started, and then talking about some of the history. Fentress County is located about 45 minutes from us. It is the neighboring county there to Morgan County, which is where rugby is located. So we're going to be sharing some of the history. Some of those folks maybe have not been over here to the jail, so we're really excited to be sharing that. Hopefully we'll get some folks over to come and tour the jail. If you followed my season in season 5, I was able to do an investigation there at the old Fentress County Jail, or as they like to call it, Ye Old Jail. And that was such an interesting and fun location to be able to investigate, and got some pretty incredible evidence from the spirit box and the obelisk. We ended up playing cards there. We I believe we came into contact with one of their resident inmates there that was an artist, Billy Dean Anderson. We got some positive responses from that. So that jail is actually located right across from the historic courthouse that's there, where their historical society is located. So we're really excited to be speaking there next week, and we're going to go on and do probably do a live after that presentation, and show you a little bit about Jamestown as well as Fentress County. If you haven't been to downtown Jamestown, it's really cool, because a lot of their structures in the downtown area, including the jail and the courthouse itself, are made out of the same sandstone that our jail is made out of. So yeah, tune in. We will not have a Jailhouse Informant podcast next week, but tune in to that live, and hopefully I'll be back in time. So I'm not saying if I'm not going to do a show next week, but if I'm back in time, we will definitely go on there and probably do a live investigation next week. If not, we'll just do the live broadcast there. So stay tuned for that. Hello to Miss Sonia Thompson. Thank you so much for tuning in. John Keller, how are you doing? It's great to see you, my friend. And Bob says, I would love to be able to watch when you and Chris speak out and about. Well, thank you, Bob. I know that I don't know if they do any live broadcasts with that or not. Maybe we can look into that and see if they're doing any type of live broadcast. So we'll definitely keep that in mind. I know I always enjoy those opportunities. We're able to go out and speak and share, and we've been blessed to have a lot of those opportunities as of late. So that's going on. Something else, if you're looking for, let's get these pulled up here. Let's see. Bear with me. So if you're looking for something fun in the area to do this coming, and I don't know why everything has there we go. Everything is sort of, for some reason my pages have reset. There we go. So this coming Saturday, if you are in the area, I hope you'll come by the jail for our Meet the Author book signing and meet and greet. We're going to have Mr. Eric Freeman Sims there at the jail, joining us from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. And he's going to be there promoting his book, Small Town Haunts and Legends of Tennessee. This book is really cool. It's a very thick book. They're offering it in both hardback and paperback. And it's got stories from East, Middle, and West Tennessee. He's done a really cool job of breaking all of this down. And so he's going to be joining us. We're either, depending on the weather, we're either going to have him set up on the porch or have him set up in the bank building. He'll be signing autographs, signing books. He'll be, and you'll be able to purchase a book there if you haven't already got yours. And he's going to be sharing some of his different stories. If the name sounds familiar, Eric is the host of the Unseen Paranormal podcast, as well as the owner of the Night House that is there in Hopkinsville, Kentucky. So we're very honored and excited to have Eric there. And I'm going to see if I can blow this up full screen. We're very excited to have Eric there talking about his new book. And both the jail and historic rugby are highlighted in that book. And from what I understand, we're going to be able to actually sell that book in the gift shop after his meet and greet. So very, very excited about that. So come on out and meet the author, get you a book, and take a tour of the jail. We'd definitely be glad to have you. I think the weather's supposed to be kind of iffy there on Saturday. I know there's some really bad storms coming through tomorrow, and it's supposed to linger through Saturday morning. So if that ends up being the case, then can't think of a more perfect day to come out and spend some time there at the jail, because of course we are climate controlled. We got bathrooms and got a roof over our head. So we're really excited and thankful for that. If you are, let's see, let me get this pulled up. If you're just a little bit south of us, we're going to have a table set up at the Tennessee Mountain Laurel Festival. Christy is going to be set up there, and we're going to have a table set up from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. Eastern time there in Wartburg. It's going to be down on the historic square just across from the courthouse. It's a cute little town, and from what I've been reading and seeing from the information from the event, this is their 10th anniversary, and there are so many cool vendors that are going to be there. Live music, they're going to have food. They're also going to have on Friday, they're going to have a fun run, as well as live music and some fireworks. If it doesn't get rained out, they're definitely going to have their fireworks there. They'll be making the announcement early on tomorrow morning, as far as the schedule of events, if it is affected by the weather. But they do this festival on this particular weekend because this is the weekend when the mountain laurel bloom. So this is going to be our first year setting up. I'm really excited for Chris to be going down there and setting up, representing the jail and historic rugby at this really cool event. So hopefully you plan to join us down there for the Tennessee Mountain Laurel Festival. But we got, like I said, we got a lot going on with that. So you can either visit us there, or you can come visit us for the book signing and meet and greet that will take place there at the jail. So like usual, pulling double duty, and we're very happy about that. Just looking over here at the comments section. Hello to Miss Beth Allen there from Octagon Hall. We've got some amazing locations represented here with Clover Hill Village there in Virginia, Octagon Hall there in Franklin, Kentucky, and it's always wonderful to see you all on here. Hope you guys are doing well and staying busy as well. Hello to Mr. James Brady. It's always good to see you. Got to see him in person a few weeks ago up there at St. Albans. And when I get a minute, because I've still got to post pictures from all of these events, I'm very curious to hear how the investigation went. I know when I left and we talked, you said it was pretty incredible, so I can't wait to catch up with you, James. So it has been a busy couple of weeks. This is usually a busy travel time, and this for the past 3 weeks. So starting 3 weeks ago, I was up at St. Albans for EnigmaCons. We talked about that during our last live, which was our last live broadcast, which was 2 weeks ago. Great event in support of St. Albans, put on by Bedford Paranormal. Great event. I know they had a good turnout, and it was a good weekend for that. So the weather lifted, and it ended up being really nice. So I've got some photos to post on that. I used to be so timely with getting this stuff out, but now I'm lucky if I'm able to lay my head down for a few hours at night. But I'm going to get those photos and stuff posted here shortly, probably after the show. Glad to hear you're doing well, Miss Beth. I always love catching up with her. And as James says, St. Albans was amazing. There's no doubt about that. St. Albans is one of my favorites. So after that weekend after that, which would have been May 3rd, I got to be a part of the Shadows and Spirits Paracon that took place at the Thomas House. And let me go ahead and pull some of those photos up. Mark Walsh put that event on with the Ghosts of Tennessee. And let's see, everything's running kind of slow here. Let me pull that up. And this took place at the Thomas House in Red Boiling Springs, Tennessee there. So I had Ghost Biker merchandise as well as flyers for rugby. Whoops, let's see. Some of those are just a second here. That is actually from Wisconsin. Give me 1 minute. My computer is not wanting to function here. Here we go. It's not giving me the option to flip through my. I've never had this happen where it's not giving me my option to rotate through my pictures. Facebook is always updating things. So there we go. There we go. All right. So there we go. Okay, so like I said, Mr. Mark Walsh, he put on with Ghosts of Tennessee, put on the event there at the Thomas House. And this was a day of speakers and vendors. They had them spaced out all throughout the historic bed and breakfast. And then it ended with a investigation of the Thomas House. And I have never investigated there, but from the reports that I've had from people that have come to the jail and people that I've talked to at these different events, the Thomas House does not disappoint. It's another one of those great locations. It's kind of a legendary Tennessee location that some of the pictures I've seen of what people have captured from there is pretty incredible. So I definitely can't wait to get out there. One of my favorite parts was actually the drive to the Thomas House from here where we're at in Huntsville. It was about a 2.5 hour drive, and when you're coming off the Cumberland Plateau, it's some of the best motorcycle roads in the area. The roads were nice and well maintained, and the scenery was just absolutely gorgeous. You got this nice mix of mountains and farmland and some really nice curves along the way. So I'm working to try to get a motorcycle ride planned to that area. But if you're in a Jeep or a sports car or in just any kind of regular car, it's good as well. But definitely some phenomenal motorcycle roads. Just kind of scrolling through the pictures here. We got to, I believe this was Appalachian Healing Arts, and they talked about their investigation at the Thomas House as well as at Harriman Hospital. I know that one of the ladies was from Oak Ridge and the other was from over in North Carolina. And they talked about their business as well as how they'll go on different investigations, kind of bringing a more metaphysical side to the investigations when they travel with teams. Great group of people. This was haunted taxi, and he talked about his tours as well as his house. I believe it's escaping me the name of his location. I think it's like 18 something Maple Street house. He shared some of the evidence that's been captured there, and talk about a wild location. That was definitely he was definitely interesting to listen to speak, as well as very informative about his location. Um, Mike and Marty, they were there talking about some of their experiences that that they've had as far as doing psychic. Uh, Psychic readings and remote viewing for criminal cases and missing people. That was definitely a fascinating presentation. And if you like the mafia, oh, I'm telling you, names are escaping me right now. Like I said, I need to definitely go on there and share these pictures out. But we had I'm trying to remember their names, but they talked about their mafia connection and the book that they have out. I believe it was their dad, I think, was part of mafia, and it was really fascinating. There were ufologists there talking about UFO encounters, as well as Mr. Mark Muncy. He was talking about his books. And if you've not read any of his Eerie series, um, fantastic. And he also has a podcast. So hopefully we'll get him on the show, and some of these other folks that I had the pleasure of being able to meet. Um, have them on the show to talk about what they're doing. Love content creators, love authors, and people who are out doing interesting things in the community. And so, like I said, just a few pictures from the vendor tables. I mean, this was um, it was a full house, full setup that day. The weather didn't quite cooperate. There's Memphis Ghost Hunters. The weather didn't quite cooperate with us, but it was still cool to be there and be able to be a part of it. Let's see. Beth says it is a very interesting place, lovely scenery. Absolutely, it really is. I know I've got some more pictures. Let's see. I had just posted, actually. Let me pull it up from here. A couple pictures of the outside of the location itself. Um, Here we go. Oh, this is kind of nice. It allows you to um, pull up multiple screens at one time. That's actually really nice. Yeah, so definitely a beautiful location there at the Thomas House. I know Ghost Hunt Weekends does a lot of stuff there during the weekends. And Nancy says, you've had a lot on your plate. It's okay. I really have. Thank you all for understanding. I really, really do appreciate that. Um, Hello, Mr. Ronnie Anderson. I hope you're doing well. We were just talking about Bedford Paranormal and St. Albans and the great event that you guys put on a few weeks ago. And Nancy is mentioning the fish contest. The fish eating contest was funny. That was funny. That was interesting. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm terrified to see what Daryl and Ronnie and the rest of the folks have, and Angie, what they have planned for next year's uh, um, weird, gross eating event. So um, you just never know with those guys. Let's see here. So that was a lot of fun to be part of that event. And then let's push ahead to um, this past weekend. So this past weekend, I took a much longer trip up to Wisconsin and got to be part of the Wisconsin Cryptids Anomalies Paranormal Convention, which was there in Appleton, Wisconsin. It was put on by Barnaby Jones and Wisconsin CAP's team, and they did such a fantastic job of making me feel welcome and putting on a really good event. We had a very good turnout. I believe there were 35 to 40 vendors, And I know that there was probably, I haven't heard the official count, but I think there was around 200 people that showed up. Um, I was one of the only ones from my area, but they did have people from all around the country come in and speak. Met a lot of people that were sort of outside of my region, here in the southeast, and so um, that was really cool to be able to share the history of the jail, the history of rugby with folks who had never heard of our locations. Now, a lot of those folks, I think we may get quite a few of them to come here to tour the jail, because a lot of them have been to the uh, historic Harriman Hospital, as well as Brushy Mountain Prison. I mean, these are iconic locations that people have heard of, and we're only 45 minutes from there. So, hopefully, whenever they come, we wanted to really put the word out that it's like, hey, if you're coming to the area, investigate these really great locations, but don't forget about us. If you're looking for something unique and different, um, consider us as a stop on your paranormal road trip if you're coming down to our neck of the woods. So it was 11.5 hour drive. I think I hit every major city on my route there. I had to go through right here on the Kentucky line. So I had to go through Lexington, I had to go through Cincinnati, and then I had to go through Indianapolis. And unfortunately, because I was in a rental car and the tolls were so super high, I had to drive through downtown Chicago, which I was actually really kind of nervous and dreading. And I was looking forward to bypassing Chicago, or Chicago, as I like to call it. But I was able to, I didn't want to pay $50 in tolls in the rental car. So just hit straight through downtown, and it added a 2-hour delay to my drive. And I can honestly say I understand why we have so many people moving from that area down here, because yuck. Anyways, so after I made it out of Chicago, I had about a 3.5 hour drive on up, and I had to go through Milwaukee, and then right on the outside of that was Appleton. So so it was definitely an excursion getting up there. It was definitely interesting. I tried to split it into 2 days because it was 11.5 hour drive for me. So split the drive up into 2 days, and I drove all the way back on the second day, or not second day, but on the way back. So I'm gonna pull up a few pictures from that. Um, so when I got up there, it was I had to go about an hour and a half on north up to an area called Mountain, Wisconsin. And I just got to say, I was so impressed with the beauty of the area. It was such a nice mix of wilderness there with the forests, and also with the farms there in Chicago. And so, let's see, just looking over here at the comments to make sure I don't miss anything. Um, yeah, Ronnie says he's scared as well. Yeah, fermented fish, gross. And yes, Nancy, that was one more state to check off the list. And see, Daryl says, "Oh, we will make sure you're involved in the next challenge." Hey, I never back down from a challenge. So I hate saying that out there, but I won't back down from a challenge. So yeah, we'll see what happens. Definitely madness in Chicago, and yeah, I Chicago. That is my new name for it, because mm, yeah, I think I took a couple years off my life with anxiety driving through it. And I don't get nervous driving or anything like that. And having ridden a motorcycle for so long. Now, obviously, I wasn't on a motorcycle, but having ridden a motorcycle for so long, it's helped me to become a very good defensive driver and really try to watch out for other people. But that place is just absolute madness. And just construction. I mean, who closes down in the middle of a Friday? Who closes down a 6-lane road to two lanes when you have traffic entering and exiting? But they're Chicago; they can do whatever they want, I guess. Let's see. Yeah, and double dog dares. Yeah, don't do that because I won't back down from a dare. Okay, all right. So now, kind of getting back to what I was saying here. Oh, let's see. Yeah, that's true, Bob. I would imagine it is. I've never driven in Boston, but I was up in Boston over 4th of July a few years ago, and I Ubered everywhere because I flew in, and I Ubered up to Salem and down to and just anywhere I needed to go in Boston. I tried to walk as much as possible, but I definitely would not have any desire to drive through Boston, even though I really enjoyed my time while I was up there. Um, okay, so I'll get back to the comments section here in a few minutes. So like I said, whenever I got up to Wisconsin, because I had gotten delayed by 2 hours there in Chicago, I basically had to check in, drop my stuff off, and head an hour and a half up to Mountain, Wisconsin, to meet for the VIP dinner. They did such a great job taking care of the speakers as well as VIPs that were part of the Bigfoot hike. We had such a wonderful dinner, and got to meet some different folks from different areas. We split up into three different groups of 10, and went into the forest. And what I really loved about this, so this was my first Bigfoot hike. I don't know if I'm a believer or not. However, I like to keep an open mind. And so I like how they split us up and really sort of put our groups about 2 to 3 miles apart. So we weren't hearing each other. We weren't contaminating our research. That was actually really nice, because sometimes when you're going somewhere, you really don't know how close you are. So we all had different tasks that we were doing. Our group, we were basically going and hiking through the woods. Another group went to a campsite and they basically set up camp. And then I think there was another that went to the quarry that was there. And so we were there I believe we hiked for about 4 hours, and then we met back up to talk about what we had experienced. And so here's just a few pictures from where we were. It was a beautiful sunset. The forests was really it was really just a fun place to go and hike. Now, there was one of the structures that we found. We believe, Barnaby Jones was the one who led the hike, and he's a seasoned investigator of the paranormal, as well as a very seasoned researcher of Bigfoot and Sasquatch and all other cryptids. I need to get him on the show here. I was on his show a few months ago, and I want to have him on mine, because he does such a fantastic presentation when it comes to talking about cryptids all over the country. He's very well read and very good researcher, and so but he talked about the difference in you know sticks and branches in these different structures. And so this one we believe is probably a hunting blind that someone had set up earlier in the winter whenever they were doing hunting up there, because this place that we were at does allow hunting during hunting season. So so this very well could have been a hunting blind, and he talked about the differences to be able to kind of tell, um, when you do encounter certain things like this, which is something that, like I said, I hadn't experienced before. Um, and there's Barnaby, and he did some calls. He talked about some of the different Bigfoot Sasquatch calls and why he does the type that he does when he's out there. He talked about the difference between the female call and the male call, and he actually, while we were there, did a female call, or did several female calls. So that was different and interesting to learn about, and it made sense as to why he did what he did, and that was because obviously if there are males in the area and you do a male call, they're probably not gonna come around. It's probably more of a deterrent. But if you do a female call, then and there are males in the area, maybe they'll communicate with you. So that was really fascinating to learn about. Um, it was a full moon, which made for a nice and eerie night. Now, we didn't have a lot happen on this. It was interesting after he did the first call, we did actually get a knock in response. We did not get any responses to our knocks. There were lots of different animals that were calling out there, and so he identified a bunch of those, which that was nice, because just like with the paranormal, not everything is paranormal, and it's always nice to essentially either be able to debunk or have a logical explanation for what you're experiencing. And with this, totally out in the wild, so you never know what you may encounter that lives in the forest. um now this is actually, my I have a really good camera that takes really good night shots. This picture, even though it looks like it's late afternoon or dusk, um, this was actually this was actually at night, and like I said, my camera did a really good job of picking it up. I didn't even have the flash on. It was just picking up with the night lens. Um, so we actually could see pretty well because of the full moon, but we couldn't see this well. The camera did a really good job picking that up. Um, so one of the more interesting things that I found was, so the lady, let's see, the lady that's over here on the right, we kind of walked together during the hike, and she was from Michigan, and so we were kind of talking about some of the things that we were seeing, and we saw this light just kind of kind of appear out of nowhere, floating. I mean, I would say relatively high, but it was really big. It was a really big bright light, and so I pulled up my flight radar and started looking to see if there were any planes around. I mean, it was extremely silent, extremely quiet. A lot of the time, if there's a plane going over and you hear the sound of the plane, you'll kind of hear it at a delay because of the way sound travels. But this was completely quiet and still. And so we looked up, there were absolutely no planes within the vicinity. There were some satellites way up high. But a satellite's going to travel on a straight line, and it's going to travel at a consistent speed. This, there were no planes. And so we kind of called attention to it, to several of the other folks that were around in the area, and it caught a lot of people's attention. Now, what was really weird about it, and both myself nor the other lady, once we saw on flight radar that there were no flights around, we just stood and watched it. We didn't take any pictures, and I thought that was kind of funny because I always have my camera with me. I'm always snapping, and I'm always trying to snap multiple pictures at once because, the rule of three. But neither of us snapped any pictures. We just stood there just kinda just like, just staring at it, and I don't know if that's kind of a common thing or if that's I don't know. I don't know why that is. And so, we sorta laughed about it afterwards, and it just kind of went off to the side and just sorta hovered there and then went away. Well, after a while, after everything was over and we got back to the gravel lot where we were meeting with the other teams, what I thought was really fascinating was everyone was kind of briefing about what they had encountered, if they heard any knocks or if they saw any prints or anything like that. And the one thing that all of them mentioned, they were like, "Did you all see the craft in the sky?" And so, we were just like, yes, that was kind of one of the things that drew our attention. So, I don't know what it was. I'm kind of curious to go back and look and see if anything had been reported because, the area that we were in actually reports a lot of, unexplained sightings and is ranked pretty high up. Wisconsin is ranked pretty high up as far as having unexplained phenomena in the sky at night, and that's reported. So, so I'm really curious to go back and look and see if anybody else reported anything on that particular night. But we all definitely saw that. The other thing that I thought was really weird, and three of us saw this. So as we were walking, we were kind of doing this thing called the caterpillar, where we were sort of trying to triangulate and see where we're different. We would go, one group would go down so far, make a knock, make a sound, and we would all kind of stand and listen. And then the group that was behind would then catch up and go ahead of the other group. I actually saw this like what looked like a red laser flash through the trees, and it was about the height of a person. And then and I made a comment about it that there was it to me it looked like my pistol has a laser on it, and so that's what it looked like to me. And so another guy, he was like, he described it and he said, "Yeah, I saw this over in this area." So we were kind of standing there watching. After a few minutes, another person saw it in kind of the same area. Never could really figure out what it was. Again, you're in the woods, possibly some kind of logical explanation for that. But it was whoops, why is this not pulling up? There we go. But it was a fun night. Great group to be around, and really fun to be able to catch up and debrief about what we had experienced. Um, Next day, we had our convention there, and like I said, I believe there was like 40, 35 to 40 vendors and speakers all throughout the day. These were my table neighbors. This was Squatch America. I think they're from Oregon, and they're now down in Texas. Um, Gave a great presentation. We're going to have them on the show, talking about what they do and talking about their travels and explorations. Hopefully, we'll have them on some point very soon. And then Stacy Brown Jr., that's sitting down there on the end from Florida, and he was talking about some of his captures that he's had down down in beautiful Florida. So again, a lot of areas represented at this convention here. Let me just see if I can scroll through a little bit. Let's see. Chad Lewis was my neighbor, a phenomenal author and great presentation. I had to follow him with my presentation afterwards, and he went on. He has traveled all over and has written some amazing books on local legends and monsters and cryptids and stuff from all around the country. But his presentation was on uh, Wisconsin legends and folklore. And I particularly loved his stories about ghost ships on Lake Michigan. That was very interesting to me. Um, I do find that through all of this, that I definitely enjoy the paranormal much more than, of course, there's my table, much more than the Bigfoot stuff. But that's okay. We all have our preferred field of study. Miss Angela there, she did a gallery reading. She wrapped up the convention with a gallery reading there from, I think it was like from like 7 to 9. I did not get to stay for that because after sitting there all day, I needed to go grab a bite to eat. But that was from what I heard, it was a really good gallery reading. And this is just a few of the. Of course, there's caps setting up. This is just a few of the vendors. The entire first floor of the hotel had vendors spaced throughout, and then of course we were set up there at the DoubleTree, and they had food trucks outside. And this is I couldn't get a good wide view of all the vendors that were set up outside of the convention hall, but they had lots of folks represented. And this is just a few pictures of the speakers. This was kind of in between when we were setting up there. There's Caps talking about my haunted hometown, and the investigation took place on Sunday. Like I said, I did not get to stay for that, and I kind of regret that I didn't get to stay for that. The gentleman that's standing there on the end, he is the owner of the location that they investigated. They investigated Bean Snappers Strip Club, and they played during this presentation some of the activity that has been captured at this location. Apparently, it used to be a bar before it was turned into a strip club, and they have everything from some wild disembodied voices to money shooting across the room. I mean, I don't know about you. We have photos shooting across the room. I'd love to have money shooting across the room. But uh yeah, so it was really interesting. I think I need to yeah, Nancy, I need to interview him. I believe Keg. I believe Keg is what he goes by. And they played some of the different EVPs and disembodied voices and videos that was captured there. Now, Caps has been highlighted on my haunted hometown, and again, just a phenomenal presentation. And I have not heard how the investigations went. They had it broken up. They did. Because again, Bean Snappers is open at night. They did the investigations during the day. They had one group that investigated, I think, from like noon to 5, and then the other from like 5 to 9 or something along those lines. And then of course there's Mr. Chad Lewis and his Wisconsin haunted places and the road guide to mysterious creatures. Really good good presentation there. So yeah, we'll be posting more pictures of that. Of course, was able to get some Wisconsin cheese while I was up there. That was probably one of my favorite highlights. And then, of course, on the drive home, got to go and uh, get to see some really interesting scenery. Now, I do kind of want to mention. I mentioned it um, on my last show. On the way up, I got to stop there at the old sheriff's house and jail there in Crown Point, Indiana. When I went up, I drove up about halfway there, or a little over halfway. Stayed there in Fair Oaks Farms, Indiana. Beautiful, beautiful little farm town. In fact, I think it's like one of the largest agritourism towns or agritourism locations there in I want to say in the US. I may be exaggerating that. I'm not sure, but Fair Oaks Farm, um, really, really neat. I didn't make it early enough to take any of the tours, but on up the road was Crown Point, and we interviewed the ladies from Crown Point uh, Sheriff's House and Jail. I think about 2 years ago on the jailhouse informant. But I tried to stop in. They weren't able to give me a tour on that one, but because they were, oops, let's see if I can get that open. Um, because they were, let's see if this will work if I do it this way. There we go. Um, because they weren't there whenever I was passing through. However, I was really impressed. So this was just before Chicago, clean, pretty little town. Um, I was really surprised at how large this jail was. They did give us a virtual tour when we had them on the show, but I didn't realize that the jail is actually the length of a city block. So, and it's kind of in between a brewery and pizza place there. Um, so this is kind of just a few pictures of that. I hope to make it back up there. It was about a 6.5 hour drive, so I'm hoping to make it back up there. Uh, ha- have any of you folks that are in the chat room, have any of you had the opportunity to investigate this jail that's there in Crown Point? If you have, I'd love to hear your experiences. I know we've had some folks that have come to our jail that have investigated here, and they've gotten some pretty wild stuff. So if you haven't, I definitely would suggest it. But if you have, I'd love to hear your story. And so it has the jailer's house attached to it, and I believe this one was built in 1882. Um, but they've done a really good job of keeping this up. And like I said, I hate that I didn't get to check out the inside, but I'm definitely planning to go back. I took some photos from outside looking in the windows there. Um, I believe that's their gift shop. It is called the Old Lake County Jail and Sheriff's House. They were closed for a while. I believe from what I saw, they are open on Saturdays, every Saturday from the end of May. They've got a big event coming up at the end of May, and it's the last Saturday in May. And then they're open every Saturday for daytime tours after that. So, um, yeah, it was built in 1882. And let's see here. The building gained national interest when public enemy number one, John Dillinger, escaped from the jail in 1934. The structure was placed on the National Register of Historic Places in 1989, and the Old Sheriff's House Foundation began restoration of the building in 1991. So, so yeah, the jail was 50 by 120 feet with 6 cells. Um, and that this was, yeah, that was the residence and the jail itself. So, yeah, so I mean, John Dillinger can't beat that history. So, um, So yeah, let's just see here. Let's kind of look at the comments. Thank you guys so much for watching. I know we're just kind of chatting and all of that. So definitely appreciate y'all commenting and sticking on here. I know sometimes if we don't have a guest or a topic, I just feel like I'm just like talking so much, but I definitely appreciate you guys sticking on here. So let's see. James says, Miranda, do you have any patches from Shawshank? I don't. I have a runner's medal. I did um, the Shawshank Hustle up there, um, where you run a 10K, I believe it was. But no, I don't have any patches from there. That would be very, very cool. Um, we were talking about traffic. Nancy says, don't come to her neck of the woods. They're working on roads and interstates. John says he is not a fan of the city, although I live smack dab between New York City and Boston. Whoo, you live in a high traffic area, no doubt about it. I'm honestly, I'm not a big city person. I can find interesting and fun things to do wherever I'm at, but as far as actually living somewhere, I like to visit the cities, but to be honest, I don't know if you can hear my frogs over in the pond and the crazy cicadas that are out right now. It's like a roar outside with the cicadas. Um, I think it's the 27 year or something like that. Cicadas. Um, this is where I would rather be. And Nancy says South Tampa. Yeah, I've been in Tampa before, and I don't know if it was. I don't know if it was. I think it was like right through it. I don't really know the difference there in um, South and all that as far as how heavy the traffic is. Ronnie says, "Was it still cold up there?" Surprisingly, it was not. It was actually quite comfortable. And in fact, it was actually warmer up there that weekend than it was here. I believe we were in the low 80s up while I was up there. And it's crazy because when I packed, I had actually looked at the weather, gone through, and they were giving it to be, I want to say low 70s. And so I sort of packed um, hoodie and light jacket, that sort of thing, because it was supposed to be in the 50s, low 50s that night. And I didn't know how late we would be out hiking, but it was actually ended up being warm. It was very, very warm in the convention hall, and crazy ticks up there. We got ticks down here, but up there, the tick season was in full swing. Thankfully, I only got like 2 ticks off me. One lady got like 17 off of her, and I sprayed down really good. But the bugs and the ticks were pretty wild. I was really surprised. There was no snakes while we were up there hiking, and normally down here, that's one of the things you got to kind of watch when you're in the woods, because we've got copperheads and rattlesnakes and a nice variety of poisonous snakes down here. Um, they were telling me they don't see a lot of snakes up there in that area, so good for them on that. Let's see. Hello to Paranormal Society there. Uh, Mr. Jeffrey Vaughn, good to hear from you. I hope you're doing well with the Paranormal Society of Middle Georgia. It's been a minute. Always good to see you. And I always, when we're talking about jails and stuff, I always think of, actually always think of you, especially with Ashburn Jail. So thank you. It's always good to hear from you, Mr. Bond. Let's see. Hello to Miss Jolly Goins. Hope you're doing well tonight. Let's see. Bob says, are they more active at night? That's a good question. I don't know. Um, I guess it's kind of like anything. Probably just depends on. Um, Probably just depends. I did ask that question while we if Barnaby had experienced more during the day or not. And we were kind of there during a mixture because it gets dark. We were in Central Time Zone, and it gets dark kind of late. It was after 9 o'clock when it got dark. He said that he's experienced both. He didn't say that he really had a difference either way. It's probably kind of like with paranormal. Maybe not so much more active day or night. You can, I guess, see the eyes shine better at night. It's probably quieter at night. Um, that is a real good question. We need to have him on and have him talk about that. That was the other thing I forgot to mention. He just released his documentary. It's a Paraflix documentary, and I think it's the Wisconsin Hairy Man was his documentary that he put out, and interviewed some really fascinating folks that are well-known researchers in the field. Jay Buchochin, I've had him on the show. Love talking to Mr. J, and he was in the documentary. So we got to see a sneak peek of the documentary that night after the convention ended. We watched it from 5 to 7 um, before the gallery reading, and then the very next day he was releasing it as a full documentary there on Paraflix. So you can go on and watch Barnaby's documentary. So we need to have him on the show and have him talk about that. Let's see. James asked if there were any broken trees by the blind. I didn't see any broken trees by it, but just down from there was a shredded tree, just completely shredded at the bottom and completely shredded a little bit up toward the top, and it was just kind of broken off. And it was really, really wild looking. He said that actually came from porcupines. Apparently, porcupines are quite destructive up there in that area. I would have loved to have seen one of those in person. But if that tree was any indication of what they can do to a person or do in defense, my goodness, I'd never seen anything like it. Bob says, I wonder if the forests are filled with spirits as well as more city areas. I feel like so this location where we were at was a state park, and it butted up to a reservation. Um, it, you know, I think the forests tend to hold a lot of energy because for me personally, I feel like the trees are a good conductor or absorbs a lot of that memory. And I think that's a lot of what we're experiencing is that memory of things that has happened. So whether it is residual energy or residual memories that's contained in the trees, um, or if it just really conducts that spirit activity, I don't know. But I would think that the forests would definitely have a lot of spirits. Um, I don't know if it'd be more than cities. I would think maybe a different type of activity or energy. I think that would be a really um, interesting experiment. And um, it play a little bit into. I've sort of been playing with some ideas and some theories about cemeteries, and I kind of feel like if a cemetery is one that's got a lot of trees with it, I think that might affect some of that activity. So it's a good question, good theory, something be good to talk more about. John says, love flight radar. I live next door to an airport, so it's a hobby of mine seeing where all the planes are heading. That's really fun. Um, I love my flight radar, and you know, my my field of study is the paranormal, but I feel like that's one of the things that I like about sky watching. Love to sky watch here because I'm on a farm, and it's pretty dark here, so you can see a lot of the sky. And the closest airport's Knoxville, and so which is an hour away. And so I like to sit outside and watch, see the satellites, see the different sky phenomena and stuff that's happening here. And I'm like you, I really like to look at the planes, but I couldn't imagine being right next door to the airport and being able to watch. I would probably have flight radar up all the time because that's really cool. Let's see. Yes, I was definitely in awe when we saw the whatever it was in the sky. And the light was a white light. There were no landing lights. That's one of the things that we talked about. There was no red and green lights. Wasn't a drone. There wasn't anything that indicated, nothing flashing. It was just this bright white light. So I was definitely in awe, and definitely shocked by it. Um Nancy says, I've heard of fireballs in northern Alabama years ago. I don't doubt that. And Ronnie says Lake Michigan is a hot spot for UFO sightings. Um, yeah, I would definitely think so. So I'd like to do a um, go on a UFO sky watch. I think the Bigfoot hike was interesting to me. I definitely I definitely enjoy the paranormal more, I think, than Bigfoot. Maybe if I did it a little more, um, but let's see. Yes, it was definitely a nice setup there for the convention. They had it set up where they did. I think the NFL draft was going on, and so there was a lot of things were booked in the area. And so, but it was nice to have the convention in the hotel where I was staying, especially staying up with the long drive, staying up the night before, and having to get there early the next day. Um, so that was definitely nice. I'm seeing responses when I was talking about Crown Point. It looks like um, people have not investigated there. I need to see if I can have those ladies on to talk about that location. We had them on about the jail and fantastic history, and just hearing some of the paranormal claims. I love when places embrace their paranormal happenings, because so many places don't want to talk about it, and it's kind of a secret hush hush thing. But when a place embraces it, I think that it just, I don't know, I feel like it just kind of heightens the activity. So um well, thank you, Ronnie. I appreciate that. I honestly enjoy the chats and stuff myself. um it's I think that it's one of those things where it's kind of free form and open. I love doing the live investigations. I love having guests and stuff on, but I like the opportunity to just be able to sit here and talk and chat. And I think having some talking about some topics and talking about that sort of thing would definitely be good. I am really liking the kind of the shift in the format of the show a little bit, kind of taking a break from the guests. And so yeah, I'm with you. I enjoy it. I'll try to do more topic based, but I really wanted to highlight these. The last week, or not one last week, week before last, um, talked about St. Albans and Bedford Paranormal and what they've done. I really like taking the opportunity to talk about these conventions because people, if you've not put on one of these conventions, people don't always realize how much work and how much time and effort and money goes into putting these together to make sure that the speakers who come feel welcome, and make sure that the vendors are getting the traffic that they need, and then the people who are coming there to do the investigation, making sure they have a good time. It's a lot of work that goes into this, and so I like to be able to showcase that because we obviously can't attend everything, and unfortunately for me, I have to be really choosy about what I'm able to go to because we have to close down when we go. But it's, or at least one of us has to work a double shift, um, whether it be me or Chris when we go to these. And so yeah, I like being able to talk and share about these events because people do put so much work goes into those, and they need to be applauded for the effort that they. Let's see. James says, I'm in Cleveland and will be trying to stop. Whoops. Why did that not show that? I will be in Cleveland and be trying to stop at the Ohio State Reformatory. I will get you a patch. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, we've got to highlight the Point Pleasant patches that we got there. So, yes, that would be fantastic if you don't mind. We would love to put that up there at the jail. And so, definitely appreciate you thinking of us while you're up there, and I hope you enjoy your trip. Have a safe time. I loved my tour there of the reformatory. One of my favorite parts about it was we actually got to watch the Shawshank Redemption there inside of the commissary while the night before the race, and to be sitting in there, it was a really surreal experience to be sitting in there and be able to watch the movie while we were preparing for this run. Um, and then just the tours, because they filmed so many cool things in there, and then the history itself, definitely a lot of fun. And then just the stories of the paranormal um, that's been encountered there. There's even a gold toilet in one of the cells from, I believe it was Lil Wayne filmed a video inside there. So it's a cool place. Um, let's see here. Okay, Bob says, let's see, talking about Bigfoot. Ronnie says, I'm more into the paranormal side of things also. Yeah, I want to believe. And I gotta say, I've I'm a little surprised. I just did a post, just a quick selfie while I was getting ready to go on my walk, and I have gotten more responses, more troll responses on that post. I don't know if they're people who like the page or if they're trolls that have come out that, and I've deleted quite a few comments because just I don't know. It's I don't know. Apparently going on a Bigfoot hike is triggering to some people. And it's I was a little bit surprised by that. That people, I want to believe, and I like to I have an open mind about things, and I do feel, I've said this before, I've been to some places here in the Appalachian Mountains, and some of the forests there in Florida, and being up there in Wisconsin, and seeing some of these isolated areas, some of these areas in the Rocky Mountains where people, the back country that not many people travel to, or that you have to uh, have a helicopter bring in supplies or rescue you if something happens. That's the only way they can get to you. Being in some of those areas, I can see where there may be some type of creatures that we don't encounter on a normal basis. I've always been like, if it's something like this, why haven't more people seen it? I can understand that to a point, depending on where they're located at. But I don't know. I just feel, I think my problem is that when you're in an area that is surrounded by nature, and nature has, birds have so many different calls, even, the owls, the raccoons, whatever the wildlife it is, they've got multiple call. Each animal has multiple calls, and there's so many things that would be hard to control for, other than just seeing that, the Native Americans had certain ways that they would mark trails by bending trees, and they would grow certain ways, and just the hunter that's out there building a blind, I feel like there's just, unless you're truly immersed in it and know what a man-made structure versus something that's more natural, and these calls and all this stuff, I just feel like it would be very, very hard to control for that, and that things could be easily, not easily, things could be possibly more easily explained. So that's why, and plus I feel like with the paranormal, there's things we're able to do to draw a historical line to either debunk or try to come up with a uh, logical explanation for, or to explain the unexplained. Like, I don't know, for instance, our 7-foot shadow figure that we see. We have historical documentation that Sheriff Richard Ellis was extremely tall, that he was 6'8". The shadow figure captured there by the drunk tanks was between 6'8" and 7 foot. We've been able to get responses that talks about how he was killed. So we're able to take some of this with the paranormal and back it up with either historical findings or information that's documented. And I think that's what I really like about that, even though they're both unexplained. And even though, the Bigfoot stuff, people think they could be related, and maybe they could be. The tools that I took on my walk I took several tools. I took the EDI Plus box. I wanted to see if we did encounter something, if it affected the atmosphere. A mel meter, I took that, and I took a tri-field meter to look at the magnetic, just look at different things to see if the environment changed, if we did encounter something. They'd be more ghost hunting tools. So that was my thinking. We also had a flare temperature gun, and I'm kicking myself. I've got a bionic ear, and I wish I had taken that, and I didn't think about that at the time. And I took my dowsing rods because I thought it'd be interesting to see if we could, if I could map any ley lines on there. So, but anyways, that's my thinking. I'm more of paranormal, but it's interesting. It was a fun way to see the Wisconsin countryside. Let's see. Bob says, what I found cool was Exeter, New Hampshire incident. Exeter, they par really? Okay, that's interesting. Um, I'll have to look that up. I'm not familiar with that incident, but I'd love to definitely check out more about it. Um, let's see. Well, thank you, Ronnie. I definitely appreciate that. Um, you all have great speakers and representation, so um, definitely cool. Okay, Ronnie LeBlanc. I'll definitely look him up, and as Ronnie says, James, and definitely enjoy your OSR trip. Um, I love hearing from people who have investigated at these locations, hearing about their experiences. Um, and yeah, definitely, even if you can't investigate it, because like I said, I didn't get to. We did the. I was there for, gosh, I was there for 3 days, and did the tour, did the run, the tour, and watched the movie in there. Did not get to investigate. And Nancy says, invite the trolls to the jail. Inmates will take care of. That is the honest truth right there. If when we come in, if we have a team, we've been very, very fortunate. We've not had a lot of people come to the jail that have been disrespectful to us, but there have been a few, and it's always kind of funny because I know 100% the inmates and jailers and such that are in there, they are aware of what's happening and what's being said, and they definitely they definitely will show if someone is disrespectful to me and Chris, they will definitely they'll take care of it. It's always kind of interesting. And James says, "Do trolls pay cash?" I like to think so. But like I said, I left a few of the comments up there on my Ghost Biker page, but a few of them I took down. But they yeah, there was just, I don't know, people were just, like I said, I don't know if there was something, if my algorithm popped up on some pages, but there were quite a few people who did not believe in Bigfoot and just, I don't know, wanted to make it very well known that they didn't, and thought I was just downright silly for going. Um, and there were some crude comments too. People are just, but anyways, either rude or crude, it goes either way. But I was really surprised by the fact that going on a Bigfoot hike can trigger people, but people want to get their opinion out, and if you don't believe, that's okay. I believe in having a good time and experiencing everything that I can experience. Like I said in the beginning, there's not hardly a challenge I won't back down from, and if someone's got an idea of something fun and interesting, an interesting way to experience history or experiencing an area, I am all about it. And like I said, I had a lot of fun going on that hike with Barnaby. I was on his team, and I enjoyed being able to see a part of the country I'd never experienced before in a unique way. So I'm very grateful for that experience. And I'll try anything once and then again if I have a good time. So I definitely like to go on another one of those hikes. And like I said, met some really great people that I now follow their pages. Some of these paranormal teams. Hopefully, we'll have them on the show, and looking forward to following their travels and stuff as well. So, anyways, ended up going longer than I had intended to. It's about or 25 after 10 right now. I feel like it's been a really good discussion. Like I said, next Thursday night, I don't know if I'll be able to be live or not, but I know that Christy and I will go live after our presentation at the Fentress County Historical Society. That presentation is at 6 p.m. Central Time, or excuse me, 6 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. or no, I'm sorry. It is at 6 p.m. Central, 7 p.m. Eastern. And we'll go live briefly after that. I do want to do an investigation at some point here. Probably won't, it might not be next week, but the week after that, we're going to pick back up with the cot, and going to take it probably to the bank do that investigation, see if we're able to get anything. And then if not there, we might do it down at the jail. I'm not sure which we're going to do, probably the bank first. So hopefully going to be doing some live investigations and then peppering in some interviews with some of the folks that we've been on some of these events with lately. So I can't thank you all enough for tuning in this week, spending this time with me. It's always a pleasure. We always say it all the time that time is such a valuable thing. We don't have enough of it, and it's something that's precious. And so the fact that you've chosen to spend your time with me is something that means more than you all know. So I definitely appreciate that, and hope that if you are in the area, hope you will definitely plan to come and check us out at the historic Scott County Jail this weekend. Just going to remind you, our Meet the Author event with Eric Freeman Sims. He's doing his book signing and meet and greet for his book, Small Town Haunts and Legends. Small Town Haunts and Legends of Tennessee. Hopefully you will definitely come check that out, support another content creator, and come take a tour of the jail if you're in the area. If not, we will have that book there in our gift shop afterwards, and you will be able to order that online as well. It's quite a thick and substantial book if you like hearing stories about haunts and legends. Some like the jail and Rugby, the ghost of Elvis in Graceland, the Bell Witch, some of the stories of ghosts there in different Civil War battlefields. I think there's even cryptids and legends in there from areas talking about Sasquatch, the Tennessee Wild Man. I mean, it's a really cool book. So hopefully you'll check that out, and especially come and meet Eric on Saturday. So until then, I know that there are people being affected by these strong storms. It's supposed to get pretty crazy and hairy early in the morning of the early morning hours of Friday. So if you're in those areas, please be vigilant. Please keep an eye out and be safe. We want to see you again here next week. And our thoughts and prayers are out to y'all. But until next week, and keep an eye out on the page where we will be posting pictures and trying to catch up on things since I'm finally back home and finally I do want to make sure to mention, hopefully the next time we're back on the show, we will be live in the garage. The remodel is finished here at my house. I'm working on the garage, getting that in the studio set up. So that is coming here very, very soon. Very excited about that. It is about damn time. So anyways, good night to y'all. Thank you so much. Stay safe. And we will be seeing and talking to you all very, very soon. Good night, everyone.